Hello! Today I'd like to introduce the operation and usefulness of our MEMX Data Shuttle. It's called the MXDS2. It's a solid-state handheld device that's very useful for transferring files back and forth between your CNC machines and your computer. I wanted to start today by showing how it links to the PC and then walk over to a CNC and show you the auto mode and how you can load and unload programs and delete them off the Data Shuttle. It's a solid-state device. It uses USB and serial, and it can actually be powered from the controller if you have a controller that has power coming out on pin 25 like Famix, and at the PC it's powered by the USB. So where we start with this is that you plug in the unit and it'll come up with a message saying DS2, and the top level menu is geared for the CNC. So what we're going to do, since we're on the PC side, is we're going to hit it once and be in item number 2, which is PC, and we're going to start a connection. You'll notice that it recognizes that it's plugged into a USB and it's on. I might add that it can work with a 9-volt battery, but while it's plugged into the USB or the CNC with power, it doesn't need it. This particular one doesn't actually have the 9-volt in it, which is kind of a nice feature. So I'm going to set it down, and we're going to go to Wind Shuttle software, and it boots on. It recognizes which port it is. It recognizes here that it's a DS2, and it's ready to go. Now, ordinarily when you're using this software, you have to set the port that you're on. In this case, the USB loads with its own drivers and creates a port, and I can check the connection, and it said yes, I've got an adequate connection. And I also have to set the serial baud rate and protocol going out to the CNC. In this case, 9600 baud, 71, and both software, X-on X-off, and hardware flow control. And you can just hit Save Settings, and it will send that information. So now we're ready to go. This icon here allows you to see what's in the directory, and as you can see, there's a variety of programs I've already got here. One of the unique aspects of this is that it tells you the source of where the file came from. If it came from the PC, in other words, it's designed to be put out on the shop floor, or if it came from the CNC, an edit or a mod to the machine. The other part that you'll find interesting is that when it transfers it, it does it in its DOS name. So the operators don't have to guess or use 4 digits like a lot of the controls are limited to. They can actually see the DOS name. So if I want to add a file, you actually set up in the preferences where the upload and download directories are. And what I'll do is I'll take a file, any file probably. How about this one? And 123.nc. And what I'm going to do is send it to the unit. And now it was a small file, and it actually comes up on the unit saying that it was received. So now when I take a look at the menu, you'll see that 1213.nc is currently there, and it came from the PC. If I wanted to download a file from the unit, I could pick one of the files, and we'll pick one like 1414, and just say Save As, and what it'll do is it'll save it, and it'll copy it and tell you the number of lines, and then give you a status that was done. So that's the way to load and unload. You can see these files in the received directory, 1414, and here's the file that came in. So Notepad is linked to this, and you can see the file that you've received. So it's relatively straightforward. You can have up to 62 files in the machine at a given time, and it can generate its own directory. And so basically you uploaded, you downloaded. Just to show you that you can delete something, I can delete a file, and it will delete it from the listing. And if you notice the number of files and the amount free, we have just shy of 2 megabytes. It's 2041K flash memory. and you can load that up. So pretty much we're done there. The unit is powered, it's connected, it's doing its thing. All I have to do is unplug it and walk over to the CNC. To demonstrate the MEMX Data Shuttle 2, the MXDS2, and how it works with the CNC control, we have a Fanuc 11 CNC control, and we're going to demonstrate several of the functions. The very first thing is to plug it into the control. We actually ship a small cable with it that allows you to plug it in, often on the side of the pendant, and then it will power up. Now, remember we talked about a top-level menu. Well, the very first item in the menu is CNC, and that's where we want to go. So we hit it once to get into it, and there's a secondary menu, which is Auto mode. And Auto is a unique mode which makes this unit very easy to use. So we're going to hit it one more time, and once the send and receive lights are flashing, we're in Auto mode. From this point on, we can actually use the DS2 remotely from the CNC. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the CNC, and we're going to go to the program directory. We're in edit mode, and in auto mode here, if I actually read a program, and we've been using program 0, obviously it can't exist already, what it'll do is it will query it and come up with a menu that we saw at the PC as a part program file. And you can see here that it says the MEMX DS2 Data Shuttle, a couple of lines relating to how to command it, and then below this this divider line are all the files that are currently in there. And you'll see that there's a 21-digit space for the DOS name, which is really useful. If I page down, I see that I've got 9 of 62 files and a little over 2,000 kilobytes, or just under 2 megs available. Now, if a person wanted to get a file in this auto mode, it's like remote call for a DNC function. And what you do is you cursor down to the F command, like a file number, and in this case I'm going to grab file, let's take file 1, okay? So what I do is I alter that, and you see now that it's altered, and what I'm going to do is double check that well, I'll just bring it in. I'm actually going to do a quick check and see if I've got it there, and I don't. And I'm going to punch this file out, and what the DS2 will do is sense it and decode what's in the file and get ready to send me the file back. So if I read program 1213 and hit execute, the remote command from punching out the file 0 brings me the file that I want. Now, it's back to flashing, it's back to auto mode, and it's done a complete cycle. And it's probably the fastest and easiest way that we have come up with to enable the remote operation of this unit. Now, I'm going to show you something else, and that is, what if I wanted to, I'll change this name to the opposite, 3121, okay, and I'm going to punch this file out. Now, when it's in this special auto mode, you can punch the file out and not even worry about it. It takes the O number and creates the file, and you'll see that it's actually received it, and it gave a message, although you may have missed it, saying that the file was received, 3121 was received, and it goes back to the light. Now what I'm going to do is delete program 0, right, because that's the one I'm using to see what's happening, the remote directory, and all I do is hit read. And this moment it senses a read, it'll read it up, and you'll see that there's a new one here. File 3 is 3121. So that is now registered in memory, and it's available, and we can use that to transport it. So it auto-named it, it's ready to go. Now if I said, well, 3121 is the one I really want, and so I'd like to delete, let's say, 1212, if you go across, you'll see that it's file number 2. So if I say I'd like to delete file 2, once again, I alter it, and depending on your control, you just do this in edit mode, obviously with the right protect key off. and you punch this file, and you'll see that it'll punch it out, and it'll say F02, and it recognizes that F02 was deleted. What I do now is I delete this program, and I go ahead and read program 0. We picked 0 because you only have to type in one digit. You can pick anything you want, and off you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say program 0. I edited that, but let me delete. Oh, goodness! Here's an excellent example. What we wanted was not FO2. That was a remote command. We wanted RO2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete O0. Okay, and I'm going to just ask for the directory again. So whenever you want to know what's happening, just ask for the directory. Okay, I'm going to cursor down. I used F, which is to call the file. What I wanted to do was an R. So the R, O2, alter. Now when I punch it, it will receive it and say RO2 and recognize the command. Delete the current program and read, just a read of O0, and you'll see that 1212 is now missing. File 2 is no longer there, and that's how you delete a file. I have serial or CNCs that punch out XONs and XOFs and use the DC codes, or for whatever reason you want to do it manually. This was the auto mode, which you see is very powerful. I might add that you can do the auto mode and actually drip feed the program. So this device can be used for drip feeding. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to turn it off, and I'm just going to select the second menu here, which is send. So if I say send, I can, the first one is up, which means go up the directory tree. No, I don't want to do that. I want to send something. Do I want to send the directory? No, I don't. So now I get to pick each file, and it's awfully nice having the files here, because what I can do is say, well, I'd like to send 3121 back, so FO3. And now I'm just going to hit send. Now whenever it's flashing, it's waiting for something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to delete 3121. I'm going to delete 0321. And I'm going to get ready to read. Now remember I told you that it's ready to go, so it's waiting for me. Okay, and here it comes. So I just did a manual send. You see how it says tester 1. And it's done, and it's back up here to the main menu. If I wanted to receive it automatically, I would select it down here and hit receive, and once again when it's flashing I punch it out. By the way, item number 4 on each menu shuts it off. So that is where you can go. There are several other little features that you can run into. Probably the most important one is if you ever don't know where you are or get in trouble, hold the two buttons down and it'll say reset, and it'll go back up to the top and be ready to go. Okay? So generally then, when you come up to a FANUC control or one that uses DC codes, you just power it on or hit reset and hit enter, and then go and use auto mode. And auto mode, of course, is the, if I forward search for program 0, that's this program, and that's how you use it.